Okay, so you've got a meeting coming up about finance, or maybe you're just curious about this thing called expected value.
Hmm,
Well, get ready to see it in a whole new light.
that's right.
We're going to go on a deep dive today, all about expected value. And trust me, this isn't just some math class flashback.
Right.
This is about making decisions with a little more confidence.
Exactly. And I think that's what's really important.
Yeah.
It's about being a little bit more informed with your choices.
Right.
And expected value gives you a framework for doing that.
So let's start by just getting on the same page. What exactly is expected value? I
Yeah.
mean, you hear it thrown around, but
Yeah.
what is it really?
In the simplest terms, it's not just the average.
Right.
It's about weighing potential outcomes
Okay.
by how likely they are to actually happen.
So it's taking into account
Good
that
name.
something might be a big
Yeah.
payoff, but also might be a really, really small chance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how that applies to everything from picking stocks to playing poker, even setting insurance premiums.
Wow.
And you'd be surprised even to predicting the weather.
Predicting the weather.
Yeah, we can use expected value even for that.
I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Let's start with finance.
Yeah.
You've probably heard of investors talking about this concept of risk versus reward.
Absolutely.
How does expected value play into that?
Yeah, so let's look at a specific example. Imagine there's a stock and it has a 50 chance of either gaining $10 or losing $5.
So basically like flipping a coin.
Yeah, you can almost picture somebody flipping a coin
Yeah.
to decide what happens to your investment.
A coin toss for your money.
I know,
A little nerve-wracking.
it's a little nerve-wracking, but expected value helps us out here.
Okay, how so?
So the way you would calculate the expected value is you would multiply the potential gain by its probability, and then you would subtract the potential loss multiplied by its probability.
Okay.
So in this case, it would be 0.5 times $10
Right.
plus 0.5 times n equals $5,
Okay.
which, if you do the math, gives you an expected value of $2.50.
Okay, so positive in that case.
So positive in that case, and that suggests that it could be a worthwhile investment.
Couldn't be a worthwhile investment, so not a guarantee,
Not a guarantee.
but at least
Gives you a starting point
gives you a place to start to weigh.
to weigh those risks and rewards.
Okay, I like it. I like it. And this gets even more interesting when you think about insurance companies.
Absolutely.
How do they use this?
They're essentially doing a similar calculation, but in reverse.
In reverse. Okay,
So
so
think about it. They're constantly assessing
right,
the probability of having to pay out claims.
right.
So they're using expected value to set those premiums that are going to cover those potential payouts,
Okay.
but also allow them to make a profit because they're a business.
Right, of course, yeah.
So it's like they're managing risk
Wow.
on a massive scale.
Yeah, you're right, because you're dealing with people's lives and property.
It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, that is a huge responsibility.
Yeah. And what's really fascinating here is this idea of risk pooling,
Risk cooling, okay.
where the premiums paid by many individuals are pooled together to cover the losses of a few.
Oh, so it's like everyone chipping in,
Exactly.
knowing that the odds are hopefully in favor of everyone as a whole.
It's all about balancing that individual need with the stability of the entire system.
That makes a lot of sense. But what about like natural disasters? I mean, isn't expected value kind of limited
Yeah.
when you're talking about things that are truly unpredictable?
Yeah, that's a really great point, and it does highlight the limitations of any model.
Okay.
Expected value works best when we have some historical data to base our probabilities on.
Right, Manny.
So with those unprecedented events, it becomes much harder.
We don't have that history to look back on.
Yeah, you just don't have that data.
So it's a tool, but it's not a crystal ball.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, let's move on. Then how about business decisions?
Yes.
Like, let's say a company's trying to decide, do we launch this new product?
Yeah.
How can they use expected value to kind of guide them?
Yeah, so I was actually reading a case study recently where a company was using expected value to try to figure out the best way to launch a product. And in those situations,
Wow.
businesses will create models that map out different scenarios.
Okay.
So they might consider things like potential sales figures,
Sure.
manufacturing costs, marketing expenses, even competitor actions.
Wow, that's a lot of variables.
It is a lot. And then they assign probabilities
Okay.
to each scenario,
Uh-huh.
and they calculate the expected value of each one.
And that gives them their roadmap.
Exactly. It helps them see which path is most likely to lead to success.
I mean, this is really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not just business decisions. I mean, think about like playing chess.
Oh, absolutely.
every move you make has consequences.
Yeah, you're constantly trying to assess the expected value of your moves.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, to figure out your strategy.
I never thought about it that way.
It really highlights how we're constantly making decisions based on probabilities, even if we're not fully conscious of it.
Yeah, you're right.
Think about it. Have you ever had to like list out the pros and cons of something?
Oh, all the time. I mean, even
Uh,
what I'm going to have for dinner tonight, I'm weighing it out in my head.
Exactly. That's essentially what expected value is all about.
What?
It's helping us navigate those choices, even the everyday ones,
Right.
and make the best decisions we can.
Okay, I'm convinced. But
Yeah.
let's talk about gambling,
Sure.
specifically the lottery.
The lottery.
How does expected value work when it comes to something like that?
Yeah, that's a classic example of where understanding expected value can really make you think twice
Really?
about those dreams of hitting it big.
So you're telling me that even though there's a chance
Yeah.
of winning millions of dollars,
Yeah,
the math might not actually be on your side?
the math might not be in your favor. So let's say a lottery ticket costs $2 and the probability of winning, let's say, $1 million jackpot is 1 in a million.
1 in a million. Okay.
So yeah, you focus on that life-changing prize, but the expected value is actually negative.
So over time, you're actually more likely to
More likely to lose money
lose money.
than to win that big jackpot.
Wow. Even with those big flashy numbers up on the
Even with those big numbers.
board. Yeah. Right.
It's all about looking at the probabilities.
I see.
And this actually extends beyond gambling.
Really?
Data scientists use expected value in predictive models
Okay.
for all sorts of things, from weather forecasting to predicting customer behavior.
So we've gone from stocks to weather, all using this one concept.
I know it's a pretty versatile tool.
That's amazing. Okay, so as we wrap up here,
Yeah.
what would you say is the key takeaway for our listeners today?
I think it's that expected value gives us the power to make more informed decisions
Yep.
in a world where things are always uncertain.
Yeah, nothing's ever for sure.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen.
So whether you're investing, playing a game, or just deciding what to wear based on the weather forecast,
Right.
understanding expected value can give you an edge.
I love that. I love that. So the next time you're facing a tough decision, big or small,
Yeah.
think about expected value.
Think about those possibilities.
It might help you out.
It might just help you out, all right?
All right. And on that note,
Yeah.
we'll leave our listeners with a question to ponder.
Ooh, I like it.
If you could calculate the expected value of any decision in your life, past or present,
Past or present? Okay.
which one would you choose?
That's a good one.
And what factors would you even consider in that calculation?
That's a really good question.
I know it's something to think about until next time.
It is something to think about until next time.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.